Hi beauties, do you want to learn how to do your makeup? Then you need these 5 essential products in your makeup kit to be able to achieve a soft glam. Let's get into it. We're going to start with the primer. You don't necessarily need a primer if you have a good skin prep. I always advocate for a good skin prep, but for my girlies that have an oily skin, you can either go with a primer that has a silicone base, a matte finish, and is oil free. Another thing is you want your primer to be very sticky. You see how sticky this primer looks? This is how your primer should be. Then you want to go ahead with your foundation. I always like to put few pumps on my hand. Go ahead and use a foundation brush to place it especially in the areas that you want full coverage. Then I go ahead with my foundation brush. You can actually use a beauty blender. I always avoid to put foundation under my eyes because I don't want it to be too heavy when I put my concealer. Please don't forget your neck. You don't want it to look crazy. I always prefer to go with a foundation that is one shade darker than me. Some people prefer to go with a foundation that is their exact skin tone. Either way, it still works. Don't forget to put foundation on your forehead. You don't have to put a lot, just a little bit goes a long way. At this stage, I always like to set my foundation with my setting spray. We'll go ahead and... This is my favorite part of applying makeup, concealer. I always go with a concealer that is very bright, and then I'm going to put that different part of my face. I go with under part of my eyes, the inner corner, and one on the outer corner. I prefer my concealer to sit for a while before I dab it out. At the end of the day, it's all about preference. Some people prefer to use a concealer brush or a beauty blender. It depends on my mood. I use either of them. Start off with the outer corner before you go into the inner corner. This process takes a while because you need to take your time to blend in. You go back to your foundation brush or beauty blender and try to remove the harsh lines. To avoid having bags under your eyes, it's better to go quickly with your setting powder after concealing. Always remove the excess powder before you press it in. Then I will seal it in with my setting spray. I always prefer my face to have a little bit of color, so I'm going to go ahead with my powder blush. Then go ahead with your brow brush to just bring your brows back to life. This is our final look with just 5 products and a bonus product, which is our blush. So for my girlies that want to learn how to do their makeup, try to get these 5 essential products and you're good to go. The product doesn't need to be super expensive. You can use a drugstore product and you can still be able to achieve this look.